Hello everyone and welcome back to Monsters of the Past. As always, I'm your host Mr.G. Today, we've got a rather short episode, as we're talking about an animal that there's not really much to say about and it doesn't really fit thematically with anyone else. Today we're talking about Hypsilophodon. Contrary to popular belief, Hypsilophodon does not mean high-rise tooth. While yes, that is technically what Hypsilophus translates to, that's not what it was named for. You see, the people who discovered Hypsilophodon wanted it to have a name similar to Iguanodon, so they picked the name Hypsilophus since it's a synonym for iguana. So basically, Hypsilophodon and Iguanodon have pretty much the same name meaning. Confusing, right? Yeah, this is definitely a weird one. Oh, also, it's from an unknown family. It was an herbivore and it lived in the UK in the early Cretaceous. As you can see, Hypsilophodon was not a very big animal. It was roughly man-sized if you take into account its tail, but even then it was dwarfed by us when it comes to height. When Hypsilophodon was first discovered, it was thought to have been an arboreal creature before further analysis on its bone structure revealed that it was a terrestrial animal. Also, at one point, it was thought that Hypsilophodon was armored due to a misidentification of a torso bone. So yeah, that's lovely. Anyways, as an animal, Hypsilophodon was kind of like a reptilian deer, in that it was an herbivorous animal that had no real defenses towards predators except for running away. I unfortunately don't really have anything else to say about it as an animal, so let's just move on to the card. This card is weird. It weirds me out. For one, it's because they're trying to make Hypsilophodon scary, even though Hypsilophodons are probably one of the least scary dinosaurs I can think of. Like, why would you try to make this thing scary? It's like one of the only animals I can think of that I could probably beat up in a fight. Okay, that's kind of mean. I apologize. This card's also weird because it's making claims that I'm not sure what their sources are. Like, it claims that it lived in both the Jurassic and the Cretaceous, even though it only is known from the Cretaceous. And it also claims that it lived in both North America and Asia, even though we've only ever found its fossils in England. What is this? I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10 before my brain fries. If I could have one compliment, it's that it's cool that they gave it some sort of feathering, since herbivorous dinosaurs are almost never given that. It's very sparse, but they're there. Anyway, let's move on to Hypsilophodon's very few pop culture appearances. Hypsilophodon was in Jurassic Park 3 Park Builder. Land Before Time 3 introduced a Hypsilophodon named Hip. Although if you ask me, he looks more like a mutant crocodile thing than a Hypsilophodon. Like, just look at him. That is not a Hypsilophodon. Oh yeah, before we finish, according to my place where I look up these creatures' appearances, apparently this thing in Fantasia is supposed to be a Hypsilophodon. I don't really see it, but I want to mention it just in case it does turn out to be a Hypsilophodon. Again, this is the website's where it's not mine. That's all for this episode of Monsters of the Past. Join me next time when I talk about another Don. Bye!